everyone, I'm the Vacuuminator.
I'm Buster.
And this week in Toku, we're going to be discussing a new Mezco line, the Decker movie, and our final thoughts on Donbrothers. But before all that, Buster, how you doing?
It's the 100th episode!
Oh, fuck! I've wasted my life on Japanese superheroes!
You've wasted 2 years.
Yeah,
it's not
so
all your life.
My whole life, the only part of my existence that matters, the last 2 years, because the rest of it was long ago that we can think of it as cringe now.
Oh, okay, fair. Yeah.
Isn't that how the
fun
internet
doing
works?
This show. It's been really fun doing this show. So
it sure has. It's been an event every week, taking a peek at all the insane tokusatsu shit that's going on, and repeatedly talking about how garbage the Power Rangers fandom is.
Yeah, it's honestly like kind of like it basically it's the gun to my head to make me watch current. Because sometimes
Definitely.
because it's like now I gotta like keep up with everything, and I'm glad like the last 2 years were the time we decided to do this podcast, because there's been a lot of good, a lot of like interesting, to say the least, stuff.
Man, I cannot tell you how many times we've finished No Prize, and Chris has been like, or Boingo has been like, oh man, I'll let you go. You got to get to sleep so you can get up for work tomorrow, right? And I'm like, no, I got to go fucking watch Tokusatsu for that goddamn podcast.
Wow. Imagine an alternate timeline where like you and Boingo did this podcast.
That would be a really weird time, because as much as Boingo like enjoys Kamen Rider every once in a while, I do not think he could take Tokusatsu on a regular basis.
Yeah, like he only watched one Donbrothers. So.
He watched one Donbrothers and he's like, oh, I kind of see what they're doing here. This is neat. Anyways, Kamen Rider.
Yeah, he's more of a Rider boy. Which, like, I mean, fair, but like, also, come on, there's some cool stuff in Sentai.
Oh yeah, there's cool stuff in Sentai, there's cool stuff in Ultraman, there's cool stuff in other places. Like, as much as we like Kamen Rider, you gotta acknowledge, Kamen Rider is kind of the most basic bitch Toku series to get into after Power Rangers.
Well, it's just kind of like right now, in the current year, in the current Reiwa era, it's kind of been resting on its laurels. Like, there's still good stuff being produced, but it's kind of like, we're the big one, so...
And it's been the big one for over 2 decades now.
Yeah, ever since the Kuga comeback. So really, it's just like I kind of feel like the Reiwa, they've kind of been resting. Like, we'll get into this more of Geats, but like they've kind of been resting on their laurels a bit the last couple of years. Even if I do enjoy parts of the shows, so it'll be interesting to look back on this in like 5 years' time and like see what they do different, if they do anything different.
I can't wait for Kamen Rider Beats and his level up buckles.
That you're just combining X8 and Geats at that point. Yeah,
that's gonna be Yuya Takahashi's 5th series.
God damn it. 4th one will be 012 Electric Human Gear Loop. Because remember there was like rumors back when 01 was airing about just 01 getting a season 2, and that was like the dumbest shit.
People didn't understand what the hell 02 was until it actually debuted in the show.
Yeah. Well, not even that, it's just also because the website made a mistake and like capped off the 01 episode listings at 29. I remember that was a thing. Which, you know, very choice episode, because that's when Vulcan's final form debuts.
Oh my gosh. The real ending is when Vulcan gets too much power.
Yeah. We went on a way off tangent, but
it's fine to go on tangents. Modular media is the land of tangents, folks. And if you enjoy those, you should really support the channel. So don't forget to give this video a like. Comment down below with some of your thoughts on stuff that happened this week in Tokusatsu, and subscribe so that you can get every episode of This Week in Tokusatsu that's coming, because we still got plenty more left in us, baby!
Yeah!
So, subscribe, ring the bell in order to enable notifications, and stick around. Not just more This Week in Tokusatsu, but coming up this Friday, we've got a new episode of Analytical Fanboys dropping, where the two of us and Boingo Writer discuss the YouTube series Puppet History. You won't want to miss that. It's a heck of a time. But right now, it's time to get into the news! So, our top story this week is Mezco has been doing a bit of an event over the past month, because for those of you who are not aware, February is usually the month where Toy Fair happens. It was for a very long time. Like, the last weekend of February is when a shit ton of big toy news to kick off the year drops, but because of the pandemic and everything, it got moved around, and now Toy Fair is going to be happening in the fall. But these companies' production schedules have still remained the same, so a lot of them have been just kind of dropping a ton of news out of nowhere, or saying there's going to be a bunch of news right at the beginning of March. And in Mezco's case, they've been doing like this weekly thing of a new reveal every weekday as part of their Mezco Toys with a Z fair. And in the most recent week, they announced a couple of new lines, one of which pertained to our No Prize podcast, so make sure you listen to the latest edition of that, which you can find on the channel. But there was another one that was very similar that got announced, which is going to be the Kaiju Collective line. This is going to be a line of all kinds of kaiju from across cinema history that are articulated skeletons under seamless bodies. So there's not going to be a lot of joint lines with these. It's going to be much more about staying as true to the suit as possible. The only joint on this first figure, which is a new version of 1954 Godzilla, is the jaw. The jaw is hinged, but the entire rest of it is just a rubber body over an articulated skeleton. And it looks pretty nice for what it is. I like that they actually did it up in grayscale to match with the film. And there's a ton of accessories that really help justify the price. You get a couple damaged buildings, you get an atomic blast effect, you get a frickin' chewed up train car and like a plane and some tanks and stuff. But honestly, I am not super interested in this because this kind of technology, it's cool to use it for like specific parts of figures that really need it, like say the tail on an animal with a long tail that you want to be able to articulate without having it get too partsy. But when you do it on a whole figure, all I can really think looking at that thing is eventually that rubber is gonna dry out and it's gonna crumble to dust and look awful. So not really something I would want to mess around with in the long term. It might be good. It'll probably last a good while because with this kind of technology having been around for so long, they've worked really hard at getting rubbers that they use in action figures to last longer. But it's still something I just wouldn't want to have around in the long term. And also the price tag is pretty hefty. This thing is going to retail for $140 USD and is expected to ship towards the end of this year. But it's Mezco. They do tend to have quite a few delays with their figures, so there's no real telling when it's going to come. Buster, do you have any thoughts on this new line and this particular release?
It looks cool. I like all the pictures. My only problem is I feel like there should have been color pictures, like a couple of them. Like it's cute to do the grayscale thing, but like
well, the figure's actually going to be in grayscale, they said.
Oh yeah, I believe that, but I want to see how it'll look like in the color world, you know?
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, like a couple pictures of just it like standing in color or something, just so I can see how it will look. I don't know, just so I can know what I'm getting into.
Also, if you are going to be going in on this, despite my criticisms, do be prepared. It's going to be rather small. It's going to stand about 8 inches tall, which is not very big. It will have a 12-inch tail, but that's still not a whole lot. For that price and with the accessories, it's kind of a bit of rough going there.
Yeah, like I was thinking, like maybe it would be worth the price, but hearing how small it is, no, that. Yeah.
I think I'll just save my money for whatever other Godzilla eventually catches my. I'm still kind of interested in the Super 7 ones, and Mezco also announced a 112 Collective Godzilla last year, I believe, that has yet to come out and looks pretty cool. So just gotta wait and see how things shake out right now, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But that is all for that article. We've also had a couple new vinyls get announced for release in the super deformed style. I'm not super familiar with this line that's doing a 1964 Godzilla and Mothra larvae, but they look fairly neat if you're into that kind of stuff. And this kind of metallic-looking Mothra larvae from King of the Monsters actually looks pretty sweet, I gotta admit.
Yeah, that cool vinyls. I don't know if I'll get them.
Mm-hmm. But that's not all for Godzilla getting new merch and new releases and stuff. Because to continue on with this tradition that they've been doing, Fathom Events have announced that they're going to be doing a Godzilla Tokyo S.O.S. event. It's going to be screened at select theaters on March 22nd. This is a film I've not had a chance to see yet and don't really know much about. I think it's viewed favorably by Godzilla fans for the most part.
It is part of the Kiryu saga, so
wasn't the last one they did part of it as well?
Yeah, that was the first film in the Kiryu saga, and I went to see that day. I went to see two movies
I remember
back to back. It was like that was like the best day ever for me.
So are they like doing the whole Kiryu trilogy then, or saga, or however long it is?
It seems like, because I think there's only two movies in the Mechagodzilla hit Millennium stuff. I could be wrong. I need to like look at the Godzilla movie list, but I am gonna like go to this. Like I do want to go to this, like because as I went to the Mechagodzilla one and I really enjoyed it. The subtitles aren't probably gonna be good because the subtitles were kind of trash in the last one. But like, hey, I still enjoyed myself there, and they're gonna show some like Godzilla Day shorts at the beginning, like last time. I hope we still get a Godzilla Day Fathom event. But like, it'll be fun. March is actually like the time I might actually go see movies that come out this year. We'll see.
Yeah, we're hitting into the summer movie season pretty here soon, so there's going to be a lot of shit coming out.
Yeah, I'm glad that Fathom Events is basically they're doing more Toku. They did Shin Ultraman, and now they've already been doing the Godzilla stuff. Hope they can pick up other cool Toku stuff.
Yeah,
Shin Kamen Rider, please.
Yeah, Shin Kamen Rider, please. This sounds cool. However, since I haven't seen the first Mechagodzilla film, I probably won't end up going to it. And also, like, it seems like cash might be a little tighter for me this month. So we'll see how things pan out in general. But for those of you who like this movie and want to go see it on the big screen, this is your chance. So definitely make sure you do that. And for our final bit of Godzilla news this week, Hiya Toys has finally fully unveiled their Monsterverse King Gidorah, and I think this thing looks really nice. The sculpting and the painting is absolutely beautiful on it. The articulation is pretty solid. However, I am really concerned by the fact that in order to get it to stand up without the wings supporting it, you have to use flight stands, it looks like. That's not great if you're trying to sell a high-end collectible, which this is purporting to be. It's part of their Exquisite Basics line, which is in the 1/18th scale, or 3 3/4 inch. But this figure in particular is going to stand 13 inches tall. So I think that's like roughly the same size as the Monsterarts, but I'm not sure. I haven't watched a review of that thing in quite a while. So I don't know, if you didn't get the Monsterarts and you really want this version of King Gidorah, this might be a good avenue for you, but for me, it definitely seems like something I'm going to be holding off on for the foreseeable future.
I don't really got like much comment.
Yeah.
I don't really like the Monsterverse Gidorah. I mean, it's a fine fight. It's just like I don't really care for that design.
Interesting, because it doesn't stray too far from the original.
In general, I don't, even the original one, I don't really care for right now. Who knows? Maybe it'll change when I see him in more movies, but like,
Okay, yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, it is one of the more goofy designs, and it's always played as like the big bad of Godzilla, which is kind of crazy.
I mean, it's not a goofy design to me. It's just kind of basic to me. I don't know.
Fair enough.
It never moves a lot, so I don't really have like in movies. It just kind of stands. So I haven't really seen any cool like bits with it to me.
All right. Well, you know what's not basic?
Oh yeah, this excites me.
Yeah, freaking Iris from Gamera 3 is getting
Gamera 3.
Yeah, Heisei Gamera 3. Revenge of Iris, that movie. It's the Iris design from the final battle is getting an SH Monsterarts release, and we've only got a couple of like slight photos of it for promotional purposes here. We're gonna get the full solicitations in the next week or so. But it looks pretty good. It looks like a solid figure arts style version of a design that I honestly don't care too much for personally.
I love it. It's basically like a final evolution Digimon. It's so
Mm.
cool.
Yeah, I can see that, but that's also not an aesthetic I super care for the most part.
Fair.
Yeah. I've talked about this in a whole lot of stuff with Boingo. Digimon aesthetics are very hit or miss for me.
Pokemon guy.
Dude, freaking normie, am I right?
Yeah, I joke. I'm a big Pokemon shill too.
Oh yeah, you'll love it. It's one of the Disney-esque franchises of Japan. But now we have to go on to a bit more somber news as we move into Kamen Rider related stuff. And I apologize in advance for my pronunciation here. Akira Takahashi passed away over the last couple weeks at the age of 84, reportedly just from old age. We don't have a whole lot of details about it because of the nature of these things and getting news from Japan about them. But for those of you who don't recognize this name, this guy is a legendary character designer in the anime industry and did a lot of work for a ton of well-known series. But specifically for podcasts, he did work helping design monsters and various props and stuff for the original Kamen Rider series. He was sort of an understudy of Ishinomori at that stage in his career.
Okay, as someone going through the 1971 series, that's kind of sad because, like, even if the plots aren't the most interesting, the monsters are always super fun designs. There's a lot of great monster designs in that series that have stood the test of time. So, yeah. That's a bit sad.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully his loved ones are handling the situation fairly well. But that's all there really is to say about that. Again, we don't have a lot of details right now, and our podcast doesn't tend to keep up with those kind of things unless it's something very major. So rest in peace, Takahashi-san, and thank you for your work. As we move on to the present, because we have details on the next arc of Kamen Rider Geats, which is going to be that Ace's big secret is going to be revealed very soon as we enter into the Yamato Grand Prix. And he's going to gain a new power. Oh man, I wonder what that could be. Isn't it funny when scans like make shit sound super crazy? That's just basic stuff that's coming in the next couple episodes.
It's not fun. It's just basic marketing, man. I don't know.
Yeah. Also, a bit of a correction from last week. Laser isn't going to get a Boost Mark II form. The other Boost Mark II form from the scans is actually Ace using Gene's Laser Raise Riser along with Boost Mark II.
I don't like that.
Yeah, it's like an upgrade on top of an upgrade, which is kind of lame, especially because one of the suits is definitively better, in my opinion.
Not even just. I mean, I think the one you're getting, the combo one is better, which is always the best case scenario. Because that's gonna probably be used more later on. But Gene's probably gonna get booked. I don't like that. I feel like it's too early.
I don't know if that's happening. I would think it's more like, hey, I'm not cut out for fighting. Why don't you take my buckle because it'll make you more powerful, kind of a thing.
We'll see.
Yeah,
it could go so many ways.
Mm-hmm. Geats is pretty unpredictable at the moment, as is the prospect of Super Sentai.net shutting down. The website announced, the Japanese hub website for Sentai announced that it's going to be shutting down over the next couple of weeks, with no real explanation as to what is going on in the future. Now, this has basically been the official website for Sentai since they got involved with the internet. So I think this is kind of a huge end of an era type thing as we move forward into the King-Ohger times. However, people are predicting at this prospect that they might be setting up a new website because Kamen Rider got a new one fairly recently that was much more in-depth and interactive, but we don't know for sure at the moment. And honestly, this is something that only barely crossed my radar. I don't really keep up with the Japanese websites and how they work and stuff like that because I don't actually have a VPN.
Same. I hope the people who use the website get a better one. That's all I got.
Yeah, don't put all your eggs in the basket that is social media, Toei. That's not a good idea right now.
Yeah. Thanks, Elon.
But moving on to more exciting things, Shogakukan modeling project Ninjaman has gotten a full demonstration video with all kinds of interesting stuff being shown off in more detail. And yeah, this thing still looks really good for a plastic model kit. Very, very tempting to somebody who's not into that kind of stuff, normally speaking. Love that there's an alternate head just to show the look from when in one specific shot there's like flames in his visor as he powers up. That's a really cool touch.
Yeah, I kind of tempted, but I'm not really a model kit guy. So
yeah,
maybe later.
Yeah, and I hear like these are good, but I don't know if they're like good as an entry level thing.
Yeah,
because I haven't actually messed around with any of them. I've only like heard from other collectors and stuff like that.
Yeah. Let's move on to the brothers.
Yeah, speaking of being a collector, literally right after the finale aired, Bandai Sentai on Twitter tweeted out a photo of the gray prototype of the upcoming Memorial Edition Dawn Blaster, and the very next day we got full solicitations. It's basically everything you would expect a Memorial Edition to be. It's a upscaled to fit in adult hands and be the same size as the prop on the show is. It's going to have additional sounds in it that weren't in the original toy because they weren't originally planned for the show, as well as voice lines from the show, and it's going to come with the Avataro gears for all 5 of the main Rangers, plus Don Oni Taijin, and as an early pre-order bonus, you can get an Avataro gear for the King-Ohger main mecha, and it's premium Bandai, and it's gonna retail for about $200 USD.
Yeah, I like the Dawn Blaster, especially because I like Donbrothers, but I think I'll stick to the DX version.
Yeah, and I gotta admit, like, as a toy guy, I have never been interested in the Dawn Blaster, even the DX version, because looking at it, and as somebody who owns the Zenkai Blaster, it just comes off as like a lazy redux of that toy in a color scheme that doesn't work for me, and with sounds that are only just about on par, except it's also like hard to justify getting it to me because it's an Inoue show, so as soon as they can get away with it, they shove the toys right into the background. So this thing has had significantly less screen time than the Zenkai Blaster, and that makes it hard for me to even consider paying like the $60-$80 the DX goes for. Not coughing up 200 for that, Bandai. Sorry.
Yeah.
Maybe
I'll get one because there was rumors that there's High School Hero sounds in the DX version, so maybe I'll wait till like we finally get that gear. So
yeah, we gotta wait and see, we gotta wait for Josh to flip his lid.
Yeah, man, just please Toei do something of the High School Heroes again. I'm begging you.
It really is a shame that there wasn't like a changer for the High School Heroes, because you know they would have premium Bandai that.
Like freaking make an app, like because it was an app, you know.
Yeah, but they wouldn't. It's fucking Toei Bandai. They wouldn't release that app worldwide. It would be like Japan only.
Yeah, but we can get APKs for it, you know.
Yeah, I always forget about that stuff. That's basically all there is to say about that big expensive gun that I don't want to pay for. But moving on to more exciting news, another thing that got announced immediately following the airing of Donbrothers finale, Avataro Sentai Donbrothers versus Kikai Sentai Zenkaiger is officially happening!
The insanity will be glorious.
This is going to, of course, be a VSyn and X released in theaters on May 3rd, and will then go on home media and the Toei Tokusatsu fan club in September. So it's going to be quite a while before we get to see subs for this. but it is going to be a full-length film that's doing the frickin' early Heisei Kamen Rider thing, like mid-Heisei Kamen Rider thing, of splitting it up into 3 parts. There's going to be a 30-minute Zenkaiger segment, there's going to be a 30-minute Donbrothers segment, and then there's going to be a team-up segment of indeterminate length. And they're being written by Inoue and the main writer from Zenkaiger, whose name I can't remember right now.
Junko Kimura.
Yeah. So
where did you hear I can't find a source for the splitting thing. Did they say that in the Japanese release?
Yeah, there was something in the press release that said that, and I should have grabbed a link for that, because I just saw somebody tweet the translation of it that night, and I forgot to bookmark it. But that is the lowdown on the film, and there's a trailer. And it looks fun. There's a lot of cool little things going in there. I love that they brought back the frickin' Kashiwa Mochi Kikanoid. But I am very hesitant at the fact that they split it up into 3 parts, because I don't like that formatting in Rider movies. There's only 1 or 2 where it really worked, in my opinion. And not saying it can't work here, but it really feels like they just went oh, Inoue doesn't play well with others. Let's just make this easy for everybody. And
also, you gotta keep in mind, Shirakura prevented Inoue from watching Zenkaiger.
Yeah. And it's such a weird thing to do. We're gonna get into this more with the Donbrothers finale, but there's stuff where I'm that is such a weird choice that seems to have hampered Donbrothers and Sentai in general in some ways this last year.
I disagree, but again, I'll provide my own "this was brilliant" commentary soon.
Also, if you pre-order your tickets and or the DVD Blu-ray, you get a presento of a Dawn Zenkai blade and a Victory Super Gear, which is repaints of shit we already have. That's going to tie into the fact that in the team-up portion, they share the power-ups. Isn't that nice?
It's actually very cool. I do like the Dawn Zenkai blade. It's a really good repaint of a really cool toy.
It's all right. I don't particularly love it, but then again, white's not one of my favorite colors to see as a primary thing on a tokusatsu thing. Ugh, that sentence got away from me. But hey, Flint and Zox are back, so I'm happy to see that.
Yeah, freaking Zox got a king crown. That's fun.
He just went to Burger King and now he won't let it go.
Yeah, or maybe dumb joke. He's getting because King-Ohger is gonna be well into its run, so if just Zox is just really into King-Ohger at the time. I don't know. Speaking of King-Ohger,
yeah. Okay, we got the King-Ohger and Zenkaiger, or King-Ohger and Donbrothers, excuse me. I'm a little out of sorts at the moment. We got the Zenkaiger run handoff, which is a new tradition they started last year and I completely missed, where one of the hills on the Toei lot, it's showing the current red running up it to meet and do a big hey, we're buddies with the next red. I never heard of this until literally this last week when people were sharing around the one from last year, and I was okay, apparently this is a thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. It's nice that we got an extra handoff as opposed to the other handoff. Yeah,
it's a cute little clip thing. It's worth checking out if you want to get a quick little idea of what Gira's personality is going to be like, or see Momoi one last time after the finale, but not really much to say there. What there is to say plenty about is the fact that we've gotten some new scans and translated bios for the King-Ohger cast of characters. I'm going to go ahead and read these off real quick, and then we'll just kind of talk about our general feelings on them. First up, Gidorah is a kid who grew up in downtown area. He talks like a villain because he plays hero games with the kids there. Yama... Yeah, he's a friggin' gamer. How about that?
No, not that. I just he talks like a villain. Oh, I'm gonna love him. I love egotistical Reds who act like bastards. Let's go!
Yeah, finally, a new challenger to Marvelous's throne.
And also, he's literally already challenging Momoitaro right after.
Move, bitch, get out the way.
Yeah.
Yama is a king who grew up in the slums. He doesn't care about politics and focuses on developing technologies. So I'm willing to bet all the new toys are going to be introduced through this boy.
Yeah. But yeah, he's probably going to be developing he's probably the extra mecha we also got some scans of.
Yeah, I guess we can talk about those real quick. There's a pill bug that turns into a wrecking ball, which is pretty cool. And then there's a snail which turns into a Gatling gun, which seems a little lazy design-wise in my opinion, but I do really like the pill bug. That is the first thing that's like genuinely had me tempted by King-Ohger's mecha toys.
Also, I just like it kind of reminds me of Hurricane's mecha toys of like the little spears. So it's fun.
Yeah.
I hope that they release consistently like new ones throughout the show, like so it can be like Hurricane's little spears. So it would be nice to get a bunch of more smaller weapon mecha as opposed to a lot of bigger mecha. I don't know. That just seems neat to me.
But moving on, Laclef is the king of Oh Shogadam. With his powerful strength, he boasted he desire to unify all the kingdoms. Hey, can you tell this is machine translated? And this is referring to the guy who we think is going to be like the mentor character.
Yeah, like King-Ohger Silver or the guy Gira Cux.
Yeah, he seems cool. I'm looking forward to getting introduced to his character, as well as Ran, who is a queen who values beauty. She would do anything to get what item she sees beautifully, but she is willing to throw her beauty to protect others. Oh my god, we've got a vain supreme bitch with a heart of gold. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, she's good. She would be nice. Now Rita, on the other hand...
Oh, you fucker. Rita is the king of the supreme judge. She is ruthless and the supreme judge. She is ruthless in the court and kills people without mercy. This is literally just fucking Cassandra Cain.
Let's go!
Oh man, this is gonna be like this is gonna just friggin' be a year of me simping for one character and you simping for the others and going mine's better, yours better, mine's better, mine's better. Also, Kuwagari is a pacifist lord. He normally never values war and fights, but is willing to fight for the sake of justice and protection of his people. Yes, I fucking love Black Rangers who are just big, doofy good boys.
Yeah. No, this does kind of, like, contradict with some info. Apparently we got, like, that he was kind of a coward, or, I don't know, like, translations are all whack, so, you know. Like, it's hard to translate. So maybe that's just an early concept they had that, like, they're gonna do in the early episodes, but then drop or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like when we fought that. It's like when very early on we heard that Exquisite was going to be the father of the Bugsters, and it was going to be a big reveal at the end of the first episode.
Yeah, it turned out to be a big reveal at the end of the 18th episode or something. I forgot what episode they exactly revealed.
Yeah, but also we got a bit of info on the villains. About 2,000 years ago, there was a previous King-Ohger team that sealed the Bugnarok underground in order to raise as well as to regain his position on the ground. Bugnarok is currently looking for the three great treasures. Oh fuck, it's Overdrive!
Not Overdrive, it's just a typical MacGuffin hunt. They'll probably just be dropped, knowing how Toei shows are with their, like, initial premises, will probably be dropped halfway through.
Yeah, but it does seem built into the world a little bit, because we've also got a world map now, showing the areas of this fantasy world that each of the King-Ohgers rule over, which is interesting. That it looks like Blue and Black share a continent.
That'll be interesting to see if any conflict comes up there.
Like maybe there's like an episode about a border dispute.
Oh, god damn it.
Also, there's like a bunch of islands between some of the kingdoms that don't seem ruled over at all. I wonder if that's going to play into anything.
Maybe they'll be like Six Ranger Islands or something.
Mm-hmm. The sixth ranger lives on that cluster of islands between red and blue that looks suspiciously like Japan.
Yeah. Speaking of Japan, we got promo images for the first episode.
Yeah, I don't normally cover these because Toei releases these for every new episode, like right after the last episode airs these days. But given that this is the first episode of a new show, I figured it would be neat to take a quick little look at these. It's a lot of similar stuff to what we've seen from the trailer, but it's just cool to kind of get some of this picked out in Ultra HD. Like, I hope that those hieroglyphs that seem to be on the ceiling of Silver's castle, I think this is, are going to play into the lore really well.
Yeah, I mean, we already see, like, the full mecha there, so, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if it's going to be one of those things where, like, when the Sixth Ranger shows up, they, like, rub some dust away, and they're like, oh shit, he was here all along!
Yeah, or maybe he'll just be, like, the actual villain to the legend. We'll see what happens. Although it is, like, nice, because usually these shots are done before the special effects are added on. But, like, because they're using the Disney Plus volume green screen, which is, like, basically a pre-built green screen, like, we can already see the effects, like, some of the effects, like, pre-done, you know?
Mm-hmm. And there's some really cool, like, crowd shots with the mechas composited in and everything.
Yeah, I do like the shot in the second tweet where it's, like, you see all of the kings and their mechs and their servants.
Yeah, I wonder if it's gonna... I think the first episode, the plot of it might be that, like, some kind of summit between all the kingdoms gets interrupted by the villains attacking, and Gidorah jumps into action before Silver can get to his sword.
We'll see. Yeah, I'm very interested to see how this works. I'm not, like, in a rush to, like, get into the first episode, but, like, I am very interested to get subs for it.
Yeah, and also relating to King-Ohger, the villains are getting vinyl toys, and they look like vinyl toys in that they're not very well detailed and they don't have really any articulation.
Well, like, I'm still happy they're getting toys regardless because, again, a manga artist is working on these, like, these villain designs, so it's nice that, like, they'll be able to purchase, like, a physical representation of what they've, like, designed.
I hadn't thought of that.
And also, I realized I actually know this manga artist from something. I haven't read it yet, but, like, I have it on my list, Akumatsu, because my friend recommended it to me, and I'm like, oh my god, it's the artist from Akametsu, and they're doing Sentai stuff. That's cool.
Interesting. Well, we have one last bit of King-Ohger news to go over this week, which is that the artist Nano has announced that they will be singing Inferno, which is going to be an insert song that will be a sort of theme for Gira. And that's pretty exciting because that's a new artist coming to do musical work for Toei, which is a bit of a rare thing these days outside of openings. They tend to go with more in-house people, and Nano's been a bit of a growing sensation over there from what I understand. And by that, I mean I've listened to the episode of Trash Taste they were on.
Well, I know Nano because a lot of their songs are used for really cool Kamen Rider AMVs, so it's nice that they actually get to do official Toei songs, you know?
Mm.
So yeah, and like I've been listening to them again ever since the news of that. Yeah, their voice is immaculate, so I'm really excited to hear the song.
Maybe send some of the top picks my way because I would like to check that out, and I'm interested to hear how this song turns out.
Yeah, I'll probably wait till you hear the insert song, and then you can decide. You know.
Yeah, but that's it for King-Ohger news, and that takes us on to the little bit of Power Rangers news we have this week, which is just basically like, hey, have you seen David Yost's Twitter account? Because he's been posting a bunch of behind-the-scenes photos and some footage from the filming of MMPR Once and Always, including a better look at the updated boots for the MMPR suits, which do have that weird detailing in the diamonds that the gloves had. Like, it's an interesting, like, additional thing that doesn't really I don't imagine will stand out in the final special, but it's interesting that they added it, and I wonder if that's going to affect like future figure releases or anything like that.
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
we'll see.
And also, he posted the raw footage of him doing a new version of his morph, which seems pretty interesting. I wonder if they had him do more than just this take, because there's only one take shown here, and it seems like a bit of a first take, bit of a warm up. I guess we'll have to wait and see in the final special, though. Yeah, that's pretty much all there is to say about that. I mean, there's a photo of his friggin' thermos or whatever, water bottle, because that was a meme going around the Power Rangers fandom last week, but like not much to say there. Good that everybody's masking up in that shot, I guess. Now on to some independent news about new projects coming up. The first of which I actually neglected to include last week because a trailer dropped for a new Taiwanese kaiju film called The Lake that looks to take much more of a horror bent from the civilian angle, being much more of a character-driven thing. You only see the monster a few times in this trailer, and it's very concealed by the darkness of nighttime as well as a rainstorm. But what you see of it does look pretty solid. It looks to be a practical suit. And the body looks fairly generic in my opinion, but I really like the design of the face. There's something very eerie about the face on that thing that I like. And just in general, it looks like a pretty basic foreign horror film from my limited experience with that genre.
It's still nice to watch,
Yeah, hopefully it gets released over here with some solid English subs.
It's coming on March, digitally in March, so we should have a copy to get from our special sites. I say covering up my eye.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if we're going to cover that on the show. Do you think we should?
Why not? Maybe if I forget to, you can.
Yeah, I'm not much of a horror guy though, so I don't know if I'll be inclined to like this. We'll see what's going on the week it drops and if that crosses my radar. But hey, for those of you who are more interested in the indies or in tokusatsu that's not from Japan, maybe give this a look, as well as the next thing we're going to be talking about, which is a French independent project that's going to be coming at the end of March from Magnolia Pictures and Magnet Releasing, Smoking Causes Coughing, which seems to be a frickin' 70s Sentai parody.
Yeah, it kind of gives me adult Aquabats energy.
Yeah, I can totally see that from the way some of the fights are filmed here.
Yeah, and also the suits, they're all blue, so yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's just it's also a parody of the 5-man team tropes.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, this is the cool thing about this film is it's gonna while there is gonna be fights, it's gonna take place during a off week for the team, so that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it's taking place during a retreat, I think it says in the trailer.
Yeah,
I will say, for those of you who are much more used to Western or Japanese comedy, this film seems very French. There's a lot of sexual humor and whatnot in this trailer.
Yeah, again, it's an adult film, so don't
Mm-hmm. But it does look fairly solid. The effects look pretty good for something with a limited budget. And this is getting a limited release, stateside at least. I believe you said you found some showings at your local Alamo Draft House, right?
Yeah, it's an hour away, but it's technically local because it's in Chicago, so... Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I'll probably just wait for the digital release, because I don't want to drive an hour and because I would have to probably go with someone if I'm gonna be driving an hour, and I don't think no one wants to watch this with me.
Yeah, it looks very it looks like one of those things that you want to watch when the house is empty, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's very crass. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The friggin' Kamen Rider and Super Sentai, you can be like, it's just a goofy kid show that makes my brain do a happy. This, it's how long do you have and how far are you willing to go with me?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice little couple of indie projects going on right now that should be worth checking out.
Yeah, we'll definitely cover Smoking Causes Coughing, I think.
Oh yeah, if that crosses my radar when it comes out, I'm definitely gonna want to give it a watch.
Yeah, I'll just nag you about it because I'm actually interested.
When you watch it, just at me in your freaking Twitter review, and I'll go like, ah shit, I guess I gotta torrent that this week.
Yeah.
But that's all the news that's fit to print, so Buster, why don't you take us on to the new releases?
Alright, it's movie time, everybody, because it's Ultraman Decker Finale, Journey Beyond. I don't think I like this. It's not a bad movie. It's not a bad movie, but like...
It feels really low effort.
Yeah, it feels like more of like a... How do I explain this? Like an episode? And I know, like, these are just extended episodes.
Like a really stretched out episode is the thing. Because, like, the first 10-15 minutes are really solid. They do a good job of, like, catching you up and showing what everybody's been up to and making it feel like this world is still breathing and moving on. But then, like, the entire rest of it just kind of feels like a slog because it can't really decide what it wants to do, and it has like 2 third acts for some reason.
Yeah, and I don't really care for Dinas. Like, the actress is doing good, but like she doesn't really like impress me as a character.
Yeah, she really feels like a movie character in the sense that she's only really there to add an extra something to entice you to see the movie and doesn't have much of an interesting story to herself because her backstory is really basic and feels weird in how it's connected to Dinah.
Yeah, it feels like in the early draft for Decker. Let's put it that way.
Because this movie does a very weird thing just to get Kanata his powers back, presumably for the next crossover, where Dinas gets her powers directly from Dinah, and then at the end of the movie, to save Kanata from friggin' dying, she gives her powers to him so he can become Decker again.
And yeah, so I guess that Dinas form from the leak was fake, but like, still, it did the thing. I mean, at least Dinas isn't dead, but still, like, kind of sucks, you know?
Yeah, I was really hoping for the thumbnail this week that we'd have a shot of Dinas and Decker fighting together, and that kind of sucks that we didn't get to see that. It was a lot of Dinas like getting her ass whooped throughout the middle of the movie in order to get one pretty good Decker fight scene at the end.
Yeah, and honestly, I think the montage of like past episodes at the beginning got me hyped more because there was a really effective like montage at the beginning of this movie that like was set to the theme song.
And like I said, all that follow-up stuff showing them like training all the new recruits, that felt so wonderfully wholesome in the spirit of the show. And then the rest of it is just, ah, shit, how are we going to beat these guys? Ah, shit, how are we going to beat these guys? Oh, I think I have a way to beat these guys. Ah, shit, how are we going to beat these guys?
It wasn't very interesting. It felt very plain. Like, the milk toast, like, summer movie shit. However, there was one thing. The post-credits scene. And I know, like, I'm basically sounding like a Marvel movie critic at this point.
Oh, man. fucking buckle up for spoilers, boys.
Yeah,
even though I said Kanata dies like 2 minutes ago.
Not even spoilers. I'm talking about the teaser for the next Ultraman, which we still don't know the name of. They haven't decided if it's Blazer or Kaya yet, or they haven't announced it yet, which is pissing me off.
I think the name of the show is literally codename Ultraman.
If it is, I'm so happy if it is, but like...
I think they're doing like a Neo Ultra Q type thing.
No, it's Nexus. Trust me, it's gonna be Nexus. A lot of the dialogue is basically the core thematic of Nexus. It's gonna be either New Gen Nexus or at least taking inspiration from Nexus.
Interesting. It definitely at least seems like they want to take more of a serious approach coming out of Shin Ultraman.
Yeah, it's 1000% inspired by like, oh, Shin made a lot of money. Let's try to cash in on that audience even more, and like, because Nexus was initially a failure for reasons out of its control. So it's like, okay, we're in a good spot now. We have an audience that's gonna watch this. Let's try Nexus 2, baby. And I am, Nexus is like top 3 Ultra series for me. So I am like super excited by the Nexus vibes this next Ultraman gives me. And like, it gives the dates April 21st. I think that's when they're gonna reveal more.
Yeah, that's a Friday. I did check, and it's like right at the end of April. It's the penultimate Friday of that month. So we've got quite a bit of a wait on our hands to speculate and whatnot. But the silhouetted suit does look interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing it in full living color, and getting to know what that freaking glowing hair fringe is actually gonna look like.
Yeah, the little eyebrow, I call it.
Yeah.
I'm very interested. Like, I kind of hope they kind of like go like full on 2000s like edge with it. Like, and by edge I mean like just Nexus edge. And Nexus is still upbeat despite the edge. So like I just hope there's a bit more of like a serious kind of vibe to it. Like,
I mean, from what I've heard, Nexus is kind of the Kuga of Ultraman, so I would be down for that.
yeah, and like maybe I'll finally get you to watch Nexus, Vac.
It's on my to-do list along with like every other Ultra series -5.
Yeah, of course.
It's gonna happen one day. I promise.
Put it on your next Twitter poll. I'll triple dog dare you.
I wanna watch Orb though, because Orb has Juggler.
Put Nexus back.
What if I make a Twitter poll to the side of it?
Yes, okay, fine, do that. Fine, do that.
No, I'll decide for myself. It'll be fine. We'll figure it out.
Enough peer pressure. Let's move on to Kamen Rider and superhero time.
Yeah.
Final thoughts on the movie?
This is a boring schlog. Don't waste your time with it. Just know Kaneda got his powers back and he went into space with some buddies. He'll probably show up in the next show for an episode.
Yeah, those are always fun times. Anyway, superhero time with Kamen Rider Geats episode 24, Divergence SP special feature. Everything about the DGP. This was a funny episode.
This is just straight up a clip show, but it's also an in-universe clip show,
which makes it funny.
Yeah, which makes it funny, but also it's freaking Geats, which has been piecemeal mystery theater for so long. So to finally get everything like laid out in context, it kind of justifies doing a clip show so early in the run. And also
we're halfway there.
Well, yeah, but people usually expect a clip show as like one of the final 10 episodes or so.
I guess.
But yeah, and there is a bit of plot advancement here. Like we finally get to see what Keiwa's sponsor looks like, and it's the frickin' Commander Man from Amazons.
I guess I didn't really pay it. He looks a bit different. I think it's the green highlights on his hair and eyebrows that make him look different.
Yeah, and also the friggin' gold chain around his neck, which was a choice.
Yeah, and also, I was wrong. They are, those CGI forms are not part of the transformation, they are the transformation. And honestly, I think they kind of look like I think they look like shit, I'm sorry. Like, I can excuse Donbrothers. I can excuse Donbrothers because those are like mocap by humans. And like, those have like, they make them do fun things. These are just blech.
These are just big dumb CGI monstrosities for the sake of selling a big dumb toy, kind of like they do with the frickin' bike every year now.
Yeah, and it kind of made me. I feel like is the Kamen Rider bad now? But then I'm like, oh, the rest of the show's good. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I caught wind that there's actually a vocal minority that really doesn't like Geats this week, so that's.
I mean, I think at worst Geats is just average. So
yeah, it really depends on the episode with Geats, and I'm not sure how I'm gonna feel about it on the whole once it's done yet. But Geats can be like just okay, or it can be really damn good depending on the episode, in my opinion.
Yeah, it doesn't really do anything offensive or terrible. It's just kind of like, I've kind of seen this before from this franchise, which is like, maybe someone who's watching Geats for the first time isn't like cynical like me, who's watched every Heisei and Reiwa, so, you know?
Yeah, like I've certainly caught plot holes here and there that I've talked about and you and Boingo have brushed aside, but I still think it's a solid show overall, and getting the plot laid out this week and getting these like little reprisals with all of our main characters and their supporters was a nice way to kind of just make sure that we're all up to speed before we head into the second half.
Yeah, the Jamato Grand Prix, and I'm just saying, Yu Takahashi couldn't resist the post-humanism freaking thing with the villains this Freaking Twitter
'cause
resistance.
that's a big thing at the end of this is like, yeah, no, we like the Jamato actually because they've developed into people and they deserve rights or something. And I'm like, fucking seriously? Okay.
The third time you've done this, Takahashi. First of the Human Gears, like especially with the second with the Human Gears, first of the Bugsters, and now with the freaking. I feel like this is like less earned because I guess because of the cloning. But like I'm gonna need like some serious convincing about this new direction.
Takahashi, this is the third week in a row you've shown transhumanism in class.
Yeah, third show in a row. Whatever. But yeah, I just find that funny. But like I feel like the show has to convince me it's earned its transhumanism allegory. So we'll see.
Yeah, we're gonna have some interesting times ahead with this show, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, a decent little episode, not the best.
It was okay. Besides CGI, I think the CGI part was just the worst fighting Geats because Geats has had some really good fights,
and it's like also preceded by a fucking great fight too, where we get to see Magnum Boost in action again, and they do something new with it. They use the little arm shotties, but on the legs in a really fun way.
Yeah, again, the Geats choreography team has been like going nuts, and it's like, yeah, at least this show got style, like we ready? We ready?
Sure. Yeah, I guess we can do this. It's fine.
It's time for the final Avataro Sentai Donbrothers episode. Episode 50, the finale. We've got a bond now. I'm already getting misty-eyed, man.
I will admit there were points in this where I did feel myself getting a little emotional too. But man, there's a couple dick kicks right at the end there, huh?
I mean, kinda, but like I can. Okay, let's just.
Bro, you literally said you didn't want the romances to turn out the way they did last week.
I'm okay with the execution because it's vague. It was vague enough where it's like, okay, you know what? I can handle this. Okay, so
buddy, pal. You really gonna tell me you think Kijino deserves just
he didn't say anything
to him on a silver platter after all he's fucking done?
Look, unless the Versus movie confirms that he and Natsumi are together, I am okay with the way they portrayed it in the show because it's vague and he's like, I'm not sure, man. I think I'm just gonna go on my own.
Dude, if this podcast is still going in September, I'm gonna hold you to that.
Yeah, like it wasn't. I don't like love it, but I can like tolerate. I think. And like, I don't know if that makes sense.
See, I full on was like, oh no, fuck you in a way. You don't get to do that. That's unjustified, damn it.
Again, it was vague. They didn't like outright confirm. And I think the way there was like, no, Kijino has moved on. You know? At least that's what it came to me. That's just my viewing of it.
I don't know. Inoue's gonna have a lot of splaining to do come the Versus movie, especially with the fact that like Taro gets friggin' reborn at the end of the series. He seems like a completely different reset person in the last shot, but in the Versus trailer, he seems to be back to normal to some degree.
Maybe they're gonna pull what like I think the Lupat Rhea Soldier movie did, and just freaking be like, yes, this is releasing after the series, but it actually takes place in between episodes.
Ugh.
Yeah, that'll be weird, but like, whatever. I don't even consider the movies like part of the show. They're just like extra content. This is like, so I'm just judging the show, and I love what they did here because they're
I do like the actual concept of this episode of contextualizing the end of the series through the end of a relationship with somebody you've grown to love.
Well, it's that, but it gets even meta. Did you read my Twitter post about this?
No, because I've been avoiding spoilers, and I only just watched the episode like a couple hours ago.
Alright, I'll send you the link, but I'll also sum it up for the audience. But basically, they kind of confirmed what Zenkaiger Black is.
How so, would you say?
Visually. Okay, so when Kaito is talking about, the Don brother, Momotaro is losing his memory, he is going, they show him turning black and white. A similar color palette to Zenkaiger. This is a metatextual example of the cyclical nature of Sentai.
I can see that. I think it makes sense, but also I'm not sure if I agree.
Dude, it's a story about stories. This ends with a manga. Like, this show ends with like Haruka giving a speech about her manga, and it's basically just Inoue using her as a vessel to talk about like stories and Donbrothers.
Well, he's right at the corner of the frame.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, Inoue jump scare. He's in the episode. It's wonderful. But yeah.
Oh, speaking of jump scares, Kaiza did the face.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. Kaisa is in this episode, and I love how he takes the suit of the silver guy,
Yeah.
who is apparently inspired. I learned this week. The silver guy, the silver no toy, Sonorak. He is inspired by Changeron, which is another Inoue series. And Kaisa.
Oh, are all the fucking Noto based on old Inoue shows?
I don't think all of them. I think only I only know Sonorak. And like I don't really maybe Sononoshi could be something from Goragon. I don't know. But like I just know Sonorak was.
I'm gonna be so mad if I find out that Sonoi is frickin' Jetman.
God damn it. Yeah, oh yeah, also all the like the Sonoshi and his gang get nuked, which is like in a kind of comical way, which is like, man, I just love how they just come in here being like, man, y'all suck. Let's just go murdering our fellow teammates and then later our fellas. Other fellas.
Though I don't know. I'm still a little like coming out of the series. I'm still a little irked about like how little explanation about the actual world and how it works was given.
Oh yeah,
I know that's just Inoue's writing style, but it does bother me that like we never really found out what all the weird stuff you see with the glasses is, or how the structure of the Cerebrand society works, or if like what lies beyond just these, counting in my head, like 7 or 8 Cerebrands that we saw throughout the series.
I can understand that. And like a part of me is kind of like, oh, the first episode kind of set up a they live scenario, and they never really break the simulation. But like the show just does so much other cool shit that like I don't care.
Yeah, I was thinking about it because I had this thought during the episode when I started to realize like, okay, they're not gonna go into further explanation. It's just gonna be fighting these two dudes, and like. There was a lot that was fleshed out and explained throughout the series. Like, we did find out what the purpose of Kaito's dad being locked up is, but we never found out how that happened. And we found out, like, how the we got a lot of info on how the Bestials work and how the Mooks work, whose names I don't remember at this point. But it was just weird that, like, we kept hearing about this long-standing feud between the Dawn Clan and the Cerebrands, and we never really went into that backstory beyond, like, well, that's how we got to this point with this thing.
I'd argue, because of, like, how they said in this final episode, how, like, the bonding with the Notoi kind of is, like, why the reason why Taro needs to step down. That's, like, more, this show is more concerned about the future than the past, and that's like more that you could middle textualize that into the whole series of Sentai. Like, we need to move towards the future. The past is cool, but like future, it's time to move on. King-Ohger time, you know. But like,
yeah,
also,
and I understand that thematically, and I think that is a good point to make. But as somebody who's more concerned about traditional story structure and world building, it just sticks in my craw. And I guess we're just getting into overall thoughts about the series now. But yeah, I've kind of come out of Donbrothers, and it's going to take a little while for my thoughts to fully sink into place. But I don't think this has cracked my top 5, and it's not one I'm going to be like super hyped to go back to anytime soon.
Understandable. This is my favorite Sentai.
You fucking bitch.
Yeah, it's either that or High School Heroes. They're constantly fighting for the top 2 spots. So.
Well, High School Heroes isn't an official Sentai.
Well, like, if we could consider Akiba Ranger like an unofficial official, I think High School Heroes counts.
Okay, but like, do you think it's okay for people to say Akiba Ranger is their favorite Sentai?
Yes. I would kick them in the face because I don't like what I see of Akiba Ranger, but yes, it's okay.
Wow, fucking hot takes today.
Oh yeah, it's spicy. But like, I love this show so much, and I love how, like, the show knows that a lot of people love it so much. Because it's like, yes, we're going to move on to the future, but don't forget about the cherished times we've had together. And that's freaking beautiful, man. I have like most of a script ready.
The whole scene at the Oden cart is probably one of the best scenes in the whole show, if I'm being honest.
Oh yeah, and the fact that the last person, because Taro's like slowly losing his memories, the last person the memories forget is Sonoi. That shit gay as fuck.
That shit is gay as hell.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, and I love it. This man. I kind of don't want to cover King-Ohger because it's like,
for as negative as I'm probably coming off, I did enjoy watching Donbrothers and talking about it on this show. There's been a lot of great moments. It's been a fascinating show to keep up with. It's just, not entirely been to my taste.
Understandable. Like, you are more like concerned with traditional stuff, and that's fine. I just care if a thing is enjoyable and if it speaks to me thematic, just in its themes. And I love that. And I think Donbrothers excels in this. I
think in a way, Shirakura maybe said in one of their interviews regarding the show during its run that, like, it's more about feeling rather than thinking. And that lines up with you much more than it does me as a creator.
Shirakura he said something similar in Gyo, which, like, I don't love Gyo as much as Donbrothers, but, like, I do like Gyo, so...
Yeah, and I straight up dislike Gyo, so...
Yeah, granted, I didn't like how Gyo ended, mostly, except for the last episode, but that's a whole other story. But yeah, Donbrothers, 10 out of 10, would recommend... I don't want to, like, recommend it as your first Sentai, but at the same time, come on, I gotta. I like... Because it's like, I don't want to give you the peak right away, but at the same time, I kind of gotta.
Yeah.
So,
I would say, I'll stick to my Twitter rating. 7 out of 10. The real festival is the bonds we made along the way.
Legit. It was an epic among epics, legend among legends, real tokusatsu, man. Real tokusatsu. And why don't you talk about some other real tokusatsu?
Yeah, because I'm still watching through Double, everybody, and I am now firmly in the final arc. I reached
the first ending.
I watched 43 through 46, plus A to Z, the Gaia Memory of Fate. And this has been an interesting sequence of episodes, because 43 and 44 were a pretty solid lead-in. I like a lot of the character stuff that's done there. The reveal that Shroud is Philip's mom is insanely obvious when you think about it for more than 2 seconds, but it still works and feels natural in the moment. And I don't think a whole hell of a lot else happened in that episode, but it was still a good time. And then Gaia Memories of Fate, I fucking loved that movie. That's one of the best non-crossover Rider movies I've ever seen.
Hot take? If I may share a hot take?
Yeah, I know you have a hot take.
This movie's overrated as hell. It's fun, it's good, but I hate the camera filter put on it, and I don't think it's
I knew you were going to say that, because you've said that to me before when I've said I want to see this movie. Dude, the camera filter makes perfect sense in context. They talk all the time in the episodes leading up to this, and at the beginning of this movie, that a storm is blowing into Futo. And so they're using a darker camera shading to show that the storm has now arrived and they're dealing with it. I agree that it doesn't look great because they're color correcting regular day shots to look like a stormy day, but it makes sense thematically.
Okay, fair. I don't like it either way. So. I guess Vac's gotta correct me on Double shit while I correct him on Donbrothers shit.
It is what it is. But yeah, it is a great movie. I really enjoyed it. Some of the best mix of action and characterization I've seen in a while. Like, I've seen the clip of the Kamen Rider Joker transformation a bunch of times before, but it is so much more satisfying having the full context.
Oh yeah, that's a good scene.
Mm-hmm. And this whole movie really just feels like Koichi Sakamoto doing his friggin' magnum opus going all out. Because, like, every Koichiism you can think of is in this movie. There's all kinds of, like, practical fights with the face actors and the suit actors getting really, really physical. There's weird slowdown effects, some insane stunts and pyrotechnics, and women being very sexualized. The friggin' heat dopant, man.
Yeah, they really went like, you know what? Koichi was like, saw her, it's like, I know what I'm gonna do today.
Oh yeah, but it's a great film. Really, really enjoyed it. And then 45 and 46 were friggin' weird, man.
This is the first ending of Double. Double has 3 endings, you reach the first one.
Yeah, and there's things I like about it, like the initial confrontation with Ryubei of Ryu and Shotaro going to face off with him in the museum. That scene is really cool. I love the reveal of Terror's power, but then the reveal that Philip is dead comes as like it makes sense. But it also feels a bit like just tacked on extra drama to put Philip more in peril for the next episode. And then the way they like kind of try to say that like, no, Ryubei was doing all of this because he actually secretly loves his family and he's just been doing an ends justify the means kind of thing to save the world because humanity needs to evolve for reasons that we're not gonna specify because we're almost out of episodes. It feels really scatterbrained and kind of disappointing, honestly.
I didn't really take it as he was, because it seems like the way you interpreted it as the show framing it like, oh, he was, am I right? No, he just was crazy and it's just part of his plan.
Mm-hmm. No, I didn't determine it. I didn't take it as the show saying he was right. I took it as the show saying he started from a good place and he just lost his way. And I didn't like that either.
Yeah, no, that's always a weird thing. I don't know. I do love the final shot with him.
That's pretty good. Though it's just weird how he gets to get away with it all. Like the fact that this show has been so focused and so thematically based on like solving crimes and catching perps. I really wanted the show to end with him getting a pair of cuffs slapped on him.
I mean, he died, so.
Yeah, but like death is an out compared to prison. I am.
Oh yeah, the freaking BoJack Horseman.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, a decent set of episodes, great movie. Double is pretty good. To
3 more episodes
surprise.
left.
Yeah, I got 3 episodes left plus all the after content.
Yeah, which is I think there's only like 2 after movies. Maybe you'll watch the O's one. So
there's
3.
2 after movies. I could also check out the net movies, but I don't know if I'm going to do that because I don't tend to like
the net movies. Are basically jokes.
I know. I've seen the Wizard net movie.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I don't decide if I'm going to watch Futo Tante or not.
Don't. It's honestly, I don't think you would like it. Because based on your, like, kind of quote-unquote, I know it's like you play it up for bits lots of time, but you're kind of, like, issues of anime, and also it's just basically just extra double episodes. I just say wait for the inevitable season 2.
Yeah, I mean, anime can be good. I don't dislike anime inherently as a medium. It's just some of the way it tends to be insanely mediocre on the whole doesn't jive with me, and also, like, I already know I'm going to have a huge hang-up with Futo Tante just from the clips I've seen, which is the way they show the transformations in that, and they, like, over-animate them, because one of the things I really like...
at the time.
I know, but one of the things I really like about Double is how simple the transformations are compared to other Rider shows. Like, it's literally just a gust of wind blows over Shotaro and the suit materializes onto him, and I think that's so cool.
Yeah, fair. And at least I'll say, like, about Futo Tante, they do draw the characters with love. Like, it does it comes out of place of love rather than, like, just we're doing a thing.
Okay. So it depends on how I feel after I watch whatever the second post-series movie is, if I'm going to check out Futo Tante or not.
Yeah, it's Axel post-series and then Eternal post-series. The Eternal one's kind of a prequel to A to Z, so... But still has, like, scenes in the current, so, you know.
Yeah. Does he... Because I think he got blowed up in A to Z. Does he come back?
No, it's just, like, half the movie's most of the movie's a flashback, and you have a new character telling you about it, so...
Oh, okay.
Telling, like, Shotaro and Philip about it. It's weird.
Interesting.
May as well talk about some toys, because even though I didn't watch any 1971 this week, because I'm busy with, like, watching Gurren Lagann, or I was busy, I finished it since,
Yeah, go check out Buster's Gurren Lagann video. It was really good, everybody.
Yeah, I got Doug Enger's vinyls. These are the last of the things I decided I'm gonna consider my birthday gift. Now, these are Ogaman's, okay, gotta explain these. So these are basically licensed through Ogaman's Pharmacy, and Good Smile made them, which is like, Good Smile does a lot of famous stuff, so I'm really glad that they decided...
Good Smile's the Figma and the Nendoroid company.
Yeah, and they made these really cool Dog Edgers vinyls. These are really well detailed. And they actually have, like, a bit of articulation. Like, you could, like, move their... Granted, it's only, like, basically 3 points. You have the... You can move around the little... the area, but... I forgot. The chest area. The upper body. Yeah, the upper body. Torso. And you can move both arms in, like, a pretty simple way. But I like that there's, like, still, like, some playability with these.
It's typical 3 points vinyl articulation.
Yeah, and you could still do the cool thing they do in the show, which you can pull up their helmet and pull it down. So that's fun. The little, like, plastic... I need to share pictures, but, like, I love these. I love Dog Engers, so it's great to get merch of them. I got these from Big Bad Toy Store, and, yeah, these are really, really good. And I hope more of the Dog Engers get vinyls. Yeah, buy Kamen, please. Also, Maid Butler. I would, like, buy 5 of them, because that's literally my Twitter profile pic. Yeah, I really dig these, and it's really just nice. These have been sitting, like, on, like, my desk for, like, and every time I look at them, I have, like, a huge smile, and it's like, yeah, this is peak. I have peak on my desk.
Now this is Tokusatsu.
Yeah, this is Toku toys, baby. And, like, yeah.
No, that's what I call Tokusatsu, Volume 26.
Yeah. Why 26?
I don't know, I just chose that number off the top of my head.
Yeah, both, like, basically they're basically the same mold. They each have the details exclusive to them. Like, Rookie is still green, and he has, like, his own little... Because you actually, like, compare the two, and they each have their own details. Like, they actually have their names written on, I think, the left leg? Like, which is, like, it works in the suit, which I think it's mostly for the toy, I think, but, like, it works. And also their little, like, side emblems on their arms are different. Like, Ogaman's is more focused on just promoting the pharmacy and just good health, while Rookie is more about promoting the book, like the book they promote at the end of every episode. So yeah, I just watch Doug Engers, get the toys, dox the people. No, don't dox anyone.
Be a good person.
Be a good person. Watch Doug Engers. Get the toys.
Eat your vegetables. Take your vitamins. Say your prayers.
Yeah.
Be a real American.
I just realized they say this at the end of the theme song. Take your medicine and sleep.
Hey. Nice.
That's my Dog Engers spiel for the day. I'll probably talk about it again because I am that guy. And also because Metropolis comes out in April. So I hope that gets subbed more consistently than High School. So
yeah. Somebody fucking announced that they're doing that shit already.
Oh no, we need a trailer. They just showed a poster for Metropolis. We'll get a trailer any minute now. It comes out in April. So.
All right. Well, I guess that's it for this week in Tokusatsu. We don't have anything else on our itinerary here. So Buster, why don't you tell the people where they can check you out on the internet?
Yeah, if you enjoyed this 100th episode of This Week in Tokusatsu, check out my channel, Buster Corp. As Vac mentioned, I did a Gurren Lagann video. I thought it was cool. You should think it's cool. I poured my heart and soul into it, so please watch it. I also have a bunch of other videos on Tokusatsu, anime, games, manga, too much shit. And also I'm on Twitter at BusterBluey3. What else?
You got a Tumblr?
Oh yeah, I have Tumblr, Busters Corp. I also do Twitch streams occasionally where I riff on public domain things and licensing limbo at Busters Corp. I think it's the same as the Tumblr. Twitch and Tumblr are like the same. Busters Corp. Buster Corp with an S and no space.
Nice. And I am the Vacuuminator. I make YouTube videos about Tokusatsu and other things that interest me, such as toys and comics. You can find those at The Vacuuminator on YouTube. I'm also on Twitter at The Vacuuminator, on Tumblr, thevacuuminator.tumblr.com, and on Instagram at _Vacuuminator. But folks, that is going to do it for this week in Tokusatsu. Thank you for joining us for the 100th time. Whether this is actually your 100th time or your first time or somewhere in between, We'll see you back here next week for whatever happens that week in Tokusatsu.